Well, today we shall start. Another interesting topic. This is called the generating function. Generating function. Generating functions are very useful. In solving recurrence relations and counting certain things in counting problem. So, what is the meaning of generating function? First of all, we'll see that generating function means it is actually that we say that generating this function generates a sequence. The generating function that generates a sequence means for any sequence, suppose we consider that a sequence of numbers, okay, that h0 h1 h2 hk I'll write, okay. So that generating function of this sequence, actually there are two kind of generating functions we will study here. That first one is called ordinary generating function or simply generating function, and the other one will be exponential generating function. So this ordinary generating function, or simply we say generating function, that will first we shall discuss. So we consider a sequence that let h0 h1 h2 hk be a sequence of numbers, be a sequence of numbers. Uh, then the generating function, we say sometimes ordinary also, the or simply generating function, the generating function of this sequence is gx is equal to h0 plus h1x plus h2x square, like this, hk x to the power k, and this is an infinite series. And of course, if this series converges to a function, that is that we are writing gx. If it converges, then we are writing this function gx actually. So here this sequence should converge actually. This is an infinite series. Sorry, this series should converge to the function gx. This is an infinite series, and this series converges to the function gx. We'll see some examples here. So, the generating function, say for example, the generating function of these numbers, say 1 1 1. Here I am considering the sequence whose all the terms equal to 1. So the generating function of this sequence will be what? So the generating function of this sequence is, it is 1, h0 is 1, h1, all the terms of this sequence equal to 1. So therefore, you will get this sequence. Okay, it goes like this, right? So you know that this sequence converges to that function 1 by 1 minus x. Okay, so that another example we'll see. Suppose here I will take a finite sequence that the generating function, I'll write in short form, generating function g of these binomial coefficients, that m0, m1 for a positive integer m, that m2, it goes like this, m to m. Here this m is a positive integer, m is positive integer.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ah,
In the series which is 1 plus x square,
okay, you are saying this
converts to
mod
this
x should
function
be less
when.
than 1, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, yes. If mod x less than 1, then we get this series. Yes. So here, this m is positive integer and this is a finite sequence. Okay. So the generating function of the binomial coefficients, these are binomial coefficients basically. So this is the generating function of this sequence will be m choose 0 plus m choose 1 x, it goes like this, m choose 2 x square plus m choose m x to the power m. This is a finite sequence, so finite number of terms will be there. And you know that its generating function will be 1 plus x whole to the power n. So, like this, next I shall ask you that, okay, let me go to next page. So, next I will ask you that, suppose I will consider so in this example here, I'll ask you that, of course, we consider the sequence hk. I'll consider the sequence hk. Okay, I am writing like this, k equal to 0 to 0 to infinity. This sequence, infinite sequence, where hk is the number of non-negative integral solutions, where hk is the number of non-negative integral solutions of this equation, that x1 plus x2 plus up to say xn is equal to k. Then the question is that we have to find the generating function. Then find the generating function of this sequence, function of the given sequence. So what will be its generating function? Well, the generating function here we get is, from the definition of the generating function, the uh, well, the generating function here we get is the series, the infinite series. We'll see. I mean, that it converges to which function. So, you know the number hk in terms of this n and k, right? This number of non-negative integral solutions of this equation. So, you know that this number is equal to k plus n minus 1, choose k, right? These are your hk, right? And this x to the power k equal to 0 to infinity. The generating function is this because we know this value of hk, that here this h, I mean this is the kth term, I mean h this sequence, okay, so this is equal to k plus n minus 1, choose k, right? So this is the series. I mean, but it should converge actually. Okay, so it converges to which function? I mean, it converges to this series, converges to which function? That's what we have to find out. So if this converges to gx, I mean, that we have to find out what is this function gx, that this series converges to which function gx. We have to find this gx. Okay, here we have to find gx actually. So what can be this function gx? Do you have any idea? That generating function of this hk.
Yes, ma'am, we can do one thing.
What is that?
X to the power minus 1.
We can write it as 1 plus x raised to the power k plus n minus 1, and we have to find the coefficient of x raised to the power k in it.
1 by 1 minus x whole to the power.
No, ma'am, I'm saying that the sigma term that we have written, we can write it as 1 plus x whole raised to the power k plus n minus 1.
Okay.
And so, finding the coefficient of x raised to the power k.
Okay.
And then it will be a GP, and we can find the x raised to the power k using binomial theorem.
Yeah, that binomial theorem you use.
Yes.
That is binomial theorem we here we use is that Newton's binomial theorem. Okay. Here, well, okay, I understand what you are saying, and in fact, I mean we can see that Newton's binomial theorem. You remember? Okay. That Newton's binomial theorem also we can use and get this generating function. Well, so here, I mean, this, you remember that Newton's binomial theorem. Newton's binomial theorem was that, you recall Newton's binomial theorem. Newton's binomial theorem. I mean, you will get the coefficient in your method, but I want this function gx to be. What this function gx is? Gx is what kind of function? That we want to find out. So in Newton's binomial theorem, that I mean, we know this alpha can be any real number, x plus y whole to the power alpha. Alpha can be any real number, and this theorem gives you that alpha choose k x to the power k y to the power alpha minus k from 0 to infinity, and we define this alpha k like this. Alpha k is alpha into alpha minus 1 up to this alpha minus k plus 1 divided by factorial k. So we can, that Newton's binomial theorem, actually I am writing in a different form, but here what we shall do is the following. Here we take this z is equal to x by y. Okay, here one condition was that mod x should be less than mod y. In Newton's binomial theorem, we had an x may be equal to 0 also. So if we substitute z is equal to x by y, then we get, you put this thing in Newton's binomial theorem and then simplify. Then you simplify. So whether we'll get this expression, that Newton's binomial theorem is like this. Alpha choose k z to the power k from 0 to infinity. So whether we get this. So Newton's binomial theorem we can state in this manner also, by this substitution actually. And here you, because of this condition that mod x, less than mod y, because of this condition we get that mod z is also less than 1. Okay, mod z is less than 1. So Newton's binomial theorem we can write in this form also, that 1 plus z whole to the power alpha is equal to alpha choose k z to the power k from 0 to infinity, and alpha is any real number here. Alpha is any real number. Well, suppose this alpha is equal to, you verify this, this Newton's binomial theorem. So if I consider this alpha is equal to say minus n, then what will be this series? First of all, the coefficient alpha choose k will be that is minus n choose k. This coefficient alpha is equal to minus n, and this is minus n, and that minus n minus 1, you will be having terms like this: minus n minus k plus 1 divided by that k factorial. So minus n choose k, we can write like this, and this you simplify, and that minus 1 whole to the power k, minus 1 let us take common here, then you get that this remaining term n plus 1 up to this n plus k minus 1, right, divided by factorial k. Or this is same as minus 1 whole to the power k n plus k minus 1 choose k. So whether we'll get like this. Now in this binomial theorem, if we substitute, so for, of course, this mod z less than 1 condition will be there, 1 plus z whole to the power minus n. This is equal to, we get that right hand side summation k equal to 0 to infinity minus 1 whole to the power k n plus k minus 1, choose k and z to the power k. This is what we get from this theorem. Now, let us replace z by minus z in this. So, replace z by minus z. Then we get, okay, I'll write 1 by 1 minus z whole to the power n. Here I am writing in this form. Then in the right hand side we'll get that n plus k minus 1, choose k multiplied by z to the power k. Well, so this is what the generating function. Okay, this is what the generating function here. Mod z is less than 1. So therefore, the generating function of this numbers hk that we have written, you see earlier, that this generating function of hk. So now we have got the series actually exactly like this. Okay, that summation k equal to 0 to infinity, and here we are getting x to the power k. Okay, and here this z now you can replace by x. So now we get, hence the generating function of given sequence hk, k from 0 to infinity, is this 1 upon 1 minus x whole to the power n. Okay, this is the generating function of the given sequence. Well, it is all right. Students, are any problem anywhere? It is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So then next, the other kind of generating function, we shall discuss more problems. Okay, next class I'll discuss actually that next week. And because that theory part, I'm thinking I'll cover little bit, because you will have test on 10th of September. I have declared earlier, okay, 10th September, again Friday, that is 9 to 11. I'll keep some time in between. Lecture, test will be for 1 hour. So this next we shall have this exponential generating function. Exponential generating function. Exponential generating function. So what is exponential generating function of a sequence? Again here we consider that sequence hk. So exponential generating function, straight I am writing, of a sequence x, 0, h1, hk, as before we have taken. This is, suppose I'll put a, here a superscript e kind of thing, gex, that is for exponential generating function of the sequence, and it is given as h0 plus h1 x by factorial 1, h2 x square by factorial 2 like this, hk xk divided by factorial k, an infinite series. So here, if this series converges to a function that GEX, then this GEX will be called generating function of the given sequence. So quickly we can have some example. Again, that exponential generating function of this exponential generating function of the sequence 1 1 1 1 I take all the terms equal to 1. So this will be that, what do you get this one, exponential generating function? This will be 1 plus x by factorial 1, again x square by factor plus this plus xk by factorial k, xk by factorial k, it goes like this. So you know, right, this series converges to which function? This series converges to which function?
e to the power x.
Yes,
E to
yes,
the power x.
yes, 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 e to the power x. Yes, very good. This is all of you know actually, this is easy one. So this generating function of all, I mean this 1 1 1, this sequence is e to the power x, therefore. Well, this exponential generating function, we'll see actually more example of this, exponential generating function. So here actually we want to answer a question that we have left earlier. So that is one of our main interest for learning generating function. And that question was that do you remember that I had told you in some class that something that we learn through this generating function, we'll answer that question through generating function. Do anyone remember? Do anyone remember that? Huh?
I guess it
Using,
was permutation.
tell me.
In the R permutation of
Yeah,
Multi-set question.
R permutation of multiset, in which that limitation numbers are finite, right?
yes.
Okay, very good that you remember. So this R permutation of a multiset, that we shall answer in terms of this exponential generating function. See, just in the previous example, that ordinary generating function, that ordinary generating function, there we were getting that those coefficients, okay, those coefficients for the number of non-negative integral solution of that equation, right? And it was related to combination, and this exponential generating function actually that gives you that answer for permutation kind of problems. So here we will get that, I'll write this result as a theorem sort of thing, okay, we'll give this as a theorem. So in this result we get that, first we consider S be a multiset. Let S be a multiset N1 dot A1 N2 dot A2 NK dot AK, and this Ni, you know that they are repetition numbers, and so S is the set, and we consider that HR, this notation, HR be the number of R permutations, R permutations of this multiset S. So now actually we want to know what this HR, I mean in fact we'll give this, I mean for this sequence that H0, H1, H2, HR, for that we will give generating function. So one thing you notice, I mean suppose, okay, this part, okay, I'll tell you that thing in right time. Okay. So the exponential generating function, this theorem says that the exponential generating function of this sequence H0, H1, H2, like this HR, and of course in this sequence actually you remember one thing, this is not going to be an infinite sequence. You know that this HR will be equal to 0 whenever, I mean this HR will be equal to 0 whenever this sum, I mean this R will be bigger than summation Ni, right? When this R is greater than summation Ni, then HR will be equal to 0, this value, because I mean we are having summation Ni I from 1 to k, this many objects here in this set. So therefore we cannot have that R permutation when R is bigger than the number of objects in this set. Okay, so you note this one that HR is equal to 0 we get whenever this R is, okay, this is what I wanted to tell. Okay, so now the generating function of this S0, H1, S2, HR, I mean although I am writing this is an infinite series, I just want to tell that after some term all others will be 0 actually, all other terms will be 0. That's what I wanted to tell. Okay. So this generating function is actually exponential generating function is, I am putting a superscript here, GEX is equal to that f n1x, I'll tell you what is this f n1x, f n2x, these are multiplication of these functions, f nk x, where this f ni x will be equal to 1 plus x plus x square by factorial 2 up to x to the power ni divided by ni factorial. Understand? So this exponential generating function will be getting like this. Well, just I'll give that outline of proof of this theorem. Okay, so how it goes, that outline of proof of this theorem, I can tell you. It is there in that Brualdi book. Huh? So how this is coming out to be? Well, just you notice, just I'm giving the outline, huh? Outline of the proof. So here I'm just giving outline of this proof. So one thing you notice that what will be coefficient of x to the power r in this exponential generating function. So the coefficient of x to the power r in x to the power r in okay I'll take its coefficient x to the power r divided by factorial r, so that we get exactly this number hr actually. Okay, we should get that number to be hr, the coefficient of x to the power r divided by factorial r, that we should get equal to hr. Okay, so the coefficient of x to the power r divided by factorial r in this expression, that gx I have written here, okay, that you know that this is actually the product of, we could have written this in this form also. This same thing I would have written in this product form also. Okay, that 1 plus x plus, directly I could have written. This is also a way of representation, x to the power ni divided by ni factorial. Okay, so this is also one nice way of representation. I is equal to 1 to k. So in this product, okay, this is a finite product only. Okay, what will be coefficient of x to the power r divided by factorial r? So tell me, what do you get? So what will be the coefficient of this x to the power r divided by factorial r? So this coefficient will be given as that sum of, that sum of, okay, this x to the power r, I think this will be easy for you. Huh? Let us take, that is why, okay, that factorial r will consider afterwards. Let us take, that will be easy for understanding. Although we need the coefficient of x to the power r by factorial r, that is the hr value. Okay, but for our better understanding, let us take the coefficient of xr, x to the power r, so that we get easily. Okay, so the coefficient of x to the power r in this product, let us consider this one first. So whether you get the coefficient to be sum of all these terms, that m1 factorial, sorry, this is m1, m1 factorial, m2 factorial, like mk factorial, and this sum will be over the m1 into mk, so that sum of these numbers over all these integral solutions of mk is equal to, this would be equal to r, right? So here in this product, we are considering, I mean, that powers of x actually, so that whose powers, I mean, that sums, this sum will be equal to r. Okay, that say x to the power m1 will come across x to the power m2, x to the power mk. So the sum of these numbers have to be equal to r. Then you will get that power of x is equal to r. And in that case, you know that the coefficients. So the coefficients will be the product of these factorials, 1 upon m1 factorial, 1 upon m2 factorial, like this, 1 upon mk factorial. So this is how we get the coefficient of xr. Okay, so here this mi, of course, I mean, this is non-negative, greater than or equal to 0. So sum will be over all these non-negative integral solutions of this equation. This sum will be over this, right? It is clear to you, students, it is all right that you understand that the coefficient of xr will be like the x to the power r will be like this. Okay, so this, okay, good. So this same thing, summation, now we'll write like this. We'll multiply by r factorial and divide by r factorial. You write down m1 factorial, m2 factorial, mk factorial, and I'll divide by r factorial, x to the power r by factorial r factorial. Okay, so now, I mean, from here we get that this, I mean, this expansion of this function actually, gex, we are getting in gex, we are getting the coefficient of x to the power r is this. Okay, coefficient of x to, and this coefficient of, okay, from here I want to say that the coefficient of, okay, the coefficient of x to the power r by factorial r in gx, now we can tell, is this summation r factorial divided by m1 factorial m1, m2 factorial, mk factorial, and this sum is over all non-negative integral solutions of this equation. Okay, the sum is over all non-negative integral solutions, that m1 up to mk is equal to r. This sum will be, and mi is this greater than or equal to 0. This sum is over all non-negative integral solutions of this equation. Well, and we want to show that this is equal to HR. So this coefficient of x to the power r by factorial r, this is equal to HR. So this is equal to HR. So whether you are getting that, HR is equal to, here this will be our claim, means we want to prove this. This we are claiming and then we'll prove. This HR is equal to this sum factorial r divided by that m1 factorial, m2 factorial, mk factorial, and sum is over all this, that m1 plus mk is equal to r. So, and mi greater than or equal to 0. This is our claim. So, how do you get that? I mean, how do we get this? HR will be like this. One thing you notice that when we were, I mean, this is what the multi-set, just you recall some examples we have solved earlier, that for this kind of multi-set n1, n2.a2, nk.ak. So just you recall, we were finding something like that all 8 permutations. So in that one example earlier we have seen that when cardinality of S, I had taken that multi-set actually. S is multi-set, its cardinality is equal to 9 we had taken, and then we are counting all 8 permutations, right? All 8 permutations we were getting, right? So in that, what we were looking into? We were looking into all possible 8 subsets. All possible, when we are looking into all 8 permutations, we were looking into all 8 permutations, sorry, all 8 multi-subsets. That multi-subsets of cardinality 8, and on each, I mean that for each 8 multi-subset, we were taking all permutations. Okay, so if we use this same idea, then here we have to consider that all are, I mean, multi-subsets of cardinality are. All multi-subsets of cardinality are. So if we consider a multi-subset, say that is T, suppose, I mean let say T be a multi-subset of S of cardinality R. So then this T will be of this form, right? That M1 dot A1, M2 dot A2, and Mk dot Ak, and this summation of Mi is equal to R, right? Summation of Mi is equal to R and Mi greater than or equal to 0. This is what we would have got, a multi-subset of cardinality R. Multi-subset of cardinality R. So that how many such multi-subsets of cardinality R will get? How many such multi-subsets of cardinality R? So number of multi-subsets of cardinality R, that you will get the number of non-negative integral solutions, right? So number of non-negative integral solutions of this equation summation Mi is equal to R. So that many, I mean number of multi-subsets of cardinality R will get. And once you get a multi-subset of cardinality R, then the number of permutations, R permutation, that of this set is exactly this, number of R permutations of T is that factorial R divided by M1 factorial, M2 factorial, Mk factorial. You know this number. Okay. So therefore, this HR actually will get that we have to take sum over all, I mean, non-negative integral solutions of this equation plus Mk equal to 0 and Mi greater than or equal to 0, and exactly that what we have written, and you have to sum the number of permutations in this. Okay, so therefore, I mean, the theorem we can verify like this. I mean, the generating function we can write down for number of generating function that we can write. Generating function we can write for where is the cursor? Okay. So therefore the generating function of the R permutation.
The summation won't be equal to 0. It would be equal to R, I guess, in HR.
HR. Oh, HR won't be equal. Achha.
Ma'am, where you
Which
wrote
one?
at
Which one?
last. Ma'am, just now what you wrote.
Okay. What happened?
Ma'am, the summation of that M1 plus M2 plus up to MK is equal to R, it won't be?
Oh, acha. So you are saying this HR value will be okay. Won't be equal to 0. That when this condition I had written, you are saying, okay, this HR when R is greater than this. I mean, your question is that whether HR will be equal to 0. What is your question?
Ma'am, at the last, what have you written that it is when that the value of the R is greater than the summation of all greater than the number of
that's yeah. That's what here I had written. Okay. Huh? So when R is greater than the summation of Ni, then HR will be equal to 0. Okay, this is what you are asking?
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. Oh, well, so this is what the generating function, and we shall solve problems associated with this generating function. I mean, how can we, solve? Okay, let me give one quick example here. Okay, let me give one quick.
Before going to example, could you please explain us again? Like, I'm not able to get the theorem.
Theorem. Which part?
The theorem explanation.
Okay, you did not get,
Yeah.
Okay, which part you did not get? From the beginning?
Yes, ma'am. It will be better if you start from the beginning of the theorem.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, first I have determined the coefficient of x to the power r divided by factorial r in this in this expression. That GEX we are considering this GEX. So in this GEX, it is given like this, right? This is in this form, the product of this form, and coefficient of XR. What do you get this x to the power r? Coefficient of x to the power r. How can I get? So when the here these are k number of factors are there. So from some factors, if you collect these powers of x, powers of x, say x to the power m1 from this first product, x to the power m1 divided by m1 factorial, right? From the next factor, you are taking x to the power m2 divided by m2 factorial, and if those m1, m2, mk, if their sum is equal to r, then you can generate that x to the power r, right? How do you get power of x is equal to r? You can generate from this product. You can generate this x to the power r from this product by collecting this power of x from the factor, that x to the power m1, x to the power m2, x to the power mk from kth factor, and so that this m1, m2, mk is equal to r. Then you can get this x to the power r. This is how you can generate x to the power r. Do you understand what I am saying? So
yes,
now,
yes,
now how many ways you can generate this x to the power r? So we have to look at all possible. You have to look at all possible m1, m2 to mk, so that their sum is equal to r, and mi may be equal to 0 also, right? Mi is greater than or equal to 0. That is why we have taken. So if you take any non-negative integral solution of this equation m1, m2 to mk equal to r, that gives you a power of x. I mean x to the power r, that rth power of x. Okay, so from for each of the solution of this equation, we get power of that rth power of x. So now you collect the coefficient of x to the power r, right? Collect the coefficient of x to the power r. So this is what you will get now after we have the, I mean, we are collecting the coefficient of x to the power r in this product. We have to take sum over all the non-negative integral solutions. This part is clear to you? That coefficient of xr will be this number, this quantity?
Yes, ma'am, this part is clear. The
Okay,
right
fine.
part.
Yeah. Then I am just multiplying and dividing by factorial r. And you know that we are writing the generating function, gx is generating function of this hr. So therefore, the coefficient of x to the power r, right, x to the power r by factorial r. So this is actually hr. So this is actually, we are getting hr is this number, and other way I am trying to verify that whether this quantity, this is the number of r permutations. Okay, actually basically I am claiming that this quantity, that is the coefficient of hr in this exponential generating function, is equal to the number of r permutations. This is the number of r permutations. That's what I am verifying on the second part. Okay, number of r permutations of this multi-set. This is what I am verifying here. And for this verification, I think earlier we have missed class or what? This technique we have followed to solve some particular kind of example. Okay, that I am writing in general form only. So you have not attended few classes, I think earlier. That is why you could not understand. Is it so?
No, ma'am, I got it. Like in above, go above.
Okay, now you got it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, same technique actually we have seen earlier in some example. Okay, let us see one example here, and later on we shall solve some more problems also. Here you see this example. Here we'll see this one. I'll ask you to determine the number of number of n digit numbers with with each digit odd, with each digit odd. We are taking every digit is a odd number in this number. Each digit is odd, and where digits 1 and 3 occur even number of times. So what we are asking is the following. Using only odd digits. Okay, all the digits are odd numbers. So these digits, digits, they belong to this set, that 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So digits, they come from this. And in this n digit number, not only they are odd integer, another condition we are imposing. So the condition we are imposing is 1 and 3, they occur even number of times. Okay, 1 and 3, they occur even number of times. So therefore, you cannot have that 1, 5, say 3, 1. Okay, that n digit, n is equal to, suppose I have taken that is equal to, say, suppose, and okay, this is even number of time. So one more, say 7, 7, 1 kind of thing. So I have written a 7-digit number here. Written a 7-digit number. And in this 7-digit number, this 1 is appearing 3 times and 3 is only 1. That is odd number of times. So not this kind of numbers. We are interested on n-digit numbers in which 1 and 3 occur, they appear even number of times. So we don't want this kind. 1 and 3, they both have to appear even number of times. So how many n-digit numbers will be there? Okay, so here we have to find out that Hn, so let Hn be number of required, that required kind of, okay, be the number of n-digit numbers with required property. Okay, number of n-digit numbers with given condition, with required condition or given condition, with given condition. Then we want to find out Hn. Here we have to find Hn. What will be Hn? To find Hn. So we take help of this exponential generating function and get this Hn. Okay. So what will be generating function of this Hn now? So the generating function of Hn, what it will be? Can you tell? The exponential generating function. Exponential generating function of Hn. What do we get this exponential generating function of Hn is, well, I mean, just you look at the previous theorem. Look at the previous theorem here. We were considering, okay, where is that theorem we were considering? Come to this theorem. Let me go to that theorem. Okay, this is the theorem that we will use. So in this theorem, I mean, we are taking the summation of this M1, M2, Mk, this sum is equal to R. And each Mi is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. And this generated over such, I mean, the non-negative integral solution we are considering. And here, look, the product exponential generating function is the product of this product of this kind of factors here. Well, so if I want one condition, say one condition is that this M1 will be a even number. M1 will be a even number. M1 is coming from this first factor. Okay, from this first factor that we are taking the power of x is M1. From this first factor, power of x we are taking M1. From the second factor, we are taking power of x is M2. Like this. And if I want M1 to be a even integer, M1 is even integer, then here in this product, actually, this product, I should not consider that odd power of x. We understand that M1 is coming from this first factor, and m1 is even. If we take that m1 is a even integer, then we cannot consider this odd power of x from this first product, right? We cannot consider this odd powers of x from this first, first product. So therefore, this exponential generating function of hn that you will get. See, this is we are actually doing what we are actually counting here. We are counting the total number of n permutations. Okay, we are counting this n permutations here. N permutations of total number of n permutations of this multiset. Multiset is that n1 times 1. 1 can appear anytime. So n2 times 3. n3 times 5. And n4 times that's 7. And n5 times 9. Okay. So we are taking this n permutations of this multiset. Okay. N permutations of this multiset. So therefore, we can use the theorem we have given here. This theorem is therefore applicable. So this is what your answer. So your answer of this, example is number of n permutations of this multiset. Okay. So that therefore the exponential generating function will be like this. That is, okay, so I'll write down for this m1, that is 1 and 3, they are appearing even number of times. So that I will write this as 1 plus x, all even powers will consider that x4 by factorial 4. Okay, so up to this n1, of course it will go up to this. We don't know that n1 is how big, that is infinite number in fact. Okay, no need of a restriction kind of thing. That can be any large number, any large number, any number of times that can go. We are looking into n permutations. Okay, and therefore I'm not stopping here in this. And then for the second one, that n2, 3, that is 3 is also appearing even number of times. So therefore, you write down the even powers of x only. And for the remaining, that m3 onwards, m3, that 5, 7 and 9, there is no restriction on them. So therefore, we can write 1 plus x square by factorial 2 plus x cube by factorial 3, like this. Okay, for the remaining 3. So therefore, I am writing power 3 here. Okay, so therefore, I am writing power 3. Well, for this first two factors, we'll write this as power 2 x square by factorial 2 x 4 by factorial 4, its power 2, and 4 this 1 plus x plus x square by factorial 2 x cube by factorial 3 plus, okay, this its power 3. Okay. So this is what the generating function for this hn, the number of n digit numbers whose digits are odd integers, and 1 and 3 appear even number of times. We'll get that. And using this, exponential function. So you know this first one will be your that e to the power x plus e to the power minus x divided by 2, this expression. Okay, this expression will get like this, and its there are 2 are there, so therefore we'll get its square, and the other factor, that is e to the power x, and therefore we get 3 times e to the power 3x. So now you simplify this. Well, after simplification, you will get that, simplify this little bit, and then we can get, okay, let us let me multiply this thing, and whether we can write like this. You see, e to the power 2x plus 1 by 2 whole square into e to the power x. Can I write like this? So e to the power 2x I have taken inside and then multiplied that one. Okay, and we get in this fashion, and now the same thing we shall write in this way. E to the power, take this square of this e to the power 2x plus 1. So therefore I can write like this, plus 1 e to the power x I can write. And after simplifying further, we get 1 upon 1 by 4 e to the power 5x plus twice e to the power 3x plus e to the power x, right? And now we know the expansion of e to the power x. We'll substitute this expansion e to the power x, and okay, we can write this expression, you simplify, and then we get, actually I am substituting the value of e to the power this exponential thing, so therefore I get 5 to the power n x to the power n divided by factorial n, and n equal to 0 to infinity plus twice summation of 3 to the power n x to the power n divided by factorial n. Again n is from 0 to infinity plus summation x to the power n divided by factorial n from 0 to infinity. So now I will collect the coefficients of this x to the power n by factorial n. So therefore, whether we can write this series as, what will be the coefficient of x to the power n by factorial n, so that we can have 5 to the power n plus 2 into 3 to the power n plus 1 and divided by 4, whole divided by 4, multiplied by x to the power n by factorial n. So this is how we can express as the generating function of Hn. So your answer is what? Hn will be the coefficient of x to the power n by factorial n in this exponential generating function. And then, this number is, I have already written here, that 2 into 3 to the power n plus 1 by 4. This is what the value of Hn. Your answer is this. This is how we take help of this exponential generating function and do some counting, actually answer some counting problems. It is fine, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Fine. Well, this next, actually just I'll introduce little bit on the recurrence relations. All of you know about recurrence relations. This is not new to you, but here we shall learn in little detail that recurrence relations many of you have seen, right? So in recurrence relations, that I mean, you must have seen that Fibonacci sequence, right? You must have seen that Fibonacci sequence, right? Do you know this Fibonacci sequence?
Yes.
Okay, that Fibonacci, oh sorry, this is I only, Fibonacci sequence. So all of you know this Fibonacci sequence is what? It starts with 1, okay, then 1, then sum of these two, then sum of previous two terms. This is Fibonacci sequence. 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 3, 8. It goes like this. Sum of the previous two terms. Next term you will get by taking the sum of these two terms. So this is then 13. Right, it goes like this. This is what the Fibonacci sequence, all of you know. Right. So therefore, this Fibonacci sequence, I mean, if we write the Fibonacci sequence is f of n from 0 to infinity is the Fibonacci sequence, then this fn satisfies this relation that fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2 each time. I mean, you get the construct the Fibonacci sequence in this fashion. So nth term will be the sum of n minus 1th term and that n minus 2th term of this sequence. Well, so this, this is a recurrence relation. So this Fibonacci sequence satisfies, I'll tell you in general. So here I want to say that Fibonacci sequence satisfies this recurrence relation. So this is a recurrence relation here. Of course, n is greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to 2. Otherwise, we cannot define this f n minus 2. So Fibonacci sequence satisfies this recurrence relation. So in this recurring way, you can construct the sequence. So this is called a recurrence relation. I'll tell you in general that a recurrence relation, and there are different kind of recurrences, the recurrence relation. Okay, suppose the Fibonacci sequence Fn is defined recurringly in this way, in this manner. The recurrence relation is like this. So from this recurrence relation, I want to know explicitly what is Fn. What is this nth term in terms of n? Okay, I want to know. So what is the nth term in terms of n, not in this recurrence form, not in this recurrence relation form. I want to know explicitly, not depending on its previous term. So explicitly I want to know what is this nth term of this Fibonacci sequence. Can that be expressed in terms of n? So I want to find that. So how to find it? In recurrence relation, we shall learn that if you are given a sequence in the form of a recurrence relation, then how to find the nth term of this recurrence relation? How to find nth term of the recurrence relation? So that is the meaning of solving a recurrence relation also. So this Fibonacci sequence, you have heard actually the story, right? Just I'll tell you one interesting thing about this Fibonacci sequence. So you know that from that experiments of that rabbits actually, how that population of rabbit grows, kind of thing, that experiment was done and they follow this Fibonacci sequence. This is how that population increases for rabbits. But not only that, for Fibonacci sequence, that actually sometime I was reading in a book that Fibonacci sequence actually that is found in the nature in some other, what I'll say that many natural, that some flowers, some leaves, some fruits, they also follow this Fibonacci sequence pattern. So this kind of studies are also going on. That I'll give you one just example. Once I was reading a book, so that I have seen that you see the sunflower. If you see that sunflower, that seeds in the sunflower, if you see this sunflower, that inside actually, or in the middle, how are the seeds are arranged? The arrangement of seeds here in this sunflower, that arrangement, they follow Fibonacci sequence. That is what actually that some people have done experiment also, that the seed arrangement of sunflower that follows Fibonacci sequence. So not only that, if you look at that pineapple also, the pineapple, those eyes are there, no? Those, I mean, you see this pineapple pattern kind of thing, that, okay, that pineapple, and here this arrangements of seeds you have seen here in the pineapple. So these arrangement, sorry, not seeds, the eyes, we say eyes. These are also arranged, I mean, they also follow Fibonacci sequence. So many kind of, I mean, there's a flowers, fruits, some, then that I mean some leaves, even that some kind of snails, they also follow this Fibonacci sequence. Let's see how. If you want to learn more, you can search actually in internet also, you'll find. Well, so our main thing is that, our main object is that we want to see this recurrence relations in general and solving recurrence relations. So when we'll solve the recurrence relations, some methods I'll tell you for solving recurrence relation. That time I will tell you this in Fibonacci sequence, what is the nth term in terms of n as a function of n, not in this recurrence relation form. So let us have this definition then for a recurrence relation. Well, so the recurrence relation here we'll consider will be linear recurrence relation. Okay, linear recurrence relation. And this different kind of recurrence relations and this solving recurrence relations, those methods are, I mean, exactly same as that you solve your differential equations. Okay, solving recurrence relations, those methods are exactly that, solving differential equations. You have seen that differential, nth order differential equation with that linear coefficients, linear differential equations. Okay, that homogeneous differential equation, non-homogeneous differential equation. So this study of recurrence relations, actually it follows that same, I mean, concept as studying differential equations. You'll see that. So first of all, let us say what is, what is a linear recurrence relation. So here we consider that, I mean, n and k are non-negative integers. Say we'll take. So let n and k be non-negative integers. Non-negative integers with n is greater than or equal to k, bigger than or equal to k. So a linear recurrence relation is of the form, a linear recurrence relation is of the form, recurrence relation of order k. is of the form, here I'll take this C0, this is a function of n, an, and then C1, that is also a function of n, an minus 1, like this, ck, that is also a function of n, and an minus k is equal to some function of n. Here, this n is greater than or equal to k. Okay, I have already told that n is greater than or equal to k. I mean C0, C1, Ck, they may be function of n. So this is called a linear recurrence relation because the terms of the sequence that an minus 1, an minus k, so they are, linear. I mean, their powers are not appearing here, or not in any, that higher power, say an square or an minus 1 to the power 3, okay, or any other in some other form, maybe their square root, different kind of, so those things are not appearing. So the sequence, the terms are appearing actually simply. So that is why the power, they don't have any higher power. So that is why the name is linear recurrence relation. And we are saying this is order k, means this ckn, that should not be equal to 0. Okay, that is why we are saying this is order k. Otherwise, this would have won't be order k. So that is why this ckn is not equal to 0. And this nth term an should get involved. So recurrence relation means what? That nth term we express in terms of the, the terms that terms starting from that first term up to that n minus 1th term, you can say. So it's that term number, a lower term number, you can say. That nth term you can express with in terms of that an minus 1, an minus k, that lower term number. Okay, or maybe some function of n may be involved. So that is what a recurrence relation. So this an should also get involved. So therefore this C0n also we take that to be non-zero. Otherwise this nth term will, okay, there is no meaning. That nth term we express in terms of other terms. This is what a recurrence relation. Moreover, this recurrence relation is called, homogeneous if, if this fn, this function fn is equal to 0, then it is called a homogeneous. Okay, then the recurrence relation is called a homogeneous recurrence relation. Then the recurrence relation is called homogeneous, otherwise non-homogeneous. It is called homogeneous, otherwise non-homogeneous. If it is non-zero, then we say that is non-homogeneous recurrence genius. Okay, homogeneous, otherwise you say that this is non-homogeneous recurrence relation. Well, moreover, if this, all CIN the coefficients that we have taken, that this Cin are all constant. If Cin are all constant, I mean they are only numbers independent of n for any I from 0 to k, 0, 1 to k we have taken, then the recurrence relation is called a linear recurrence relation with constant coefficient. Then the recurrence relation is is recurrence relation is a linear recurrence relation is linear recurrence relation with constant coefficients. With constant coefficients. You understand by a recurrence relation with constant coefficient, homogeneous one, non-homogeneous one. Well, see for example, just quickly I'll give you, okay, this Fibonacci sequence that we have seen, this is obviously, okay, simplest one, simplest one, this is a linear, fine, and with constant coefficient, and also homogeneous one, right? Also homogeneous one. That Fibonacci sequence is this Fibonacci sequence that we can write that fn minus fn minus 1 minus fn minus 2. Okay, so this is equal to 0. So Fibonacci sequence is a linear recurrence relation with constant coefficient and homogeneous one, right? So this is linear homogeneous, this is linear homogeneous with constant coefficients, and what is its order? Of order what? Order 2, right? That n minus k is the order, the n minus 2, here k is equal to 2. So Fibonacci sequence is a linear homogeneous with constant coefficient of order 2. So we'll see some more example of recurrence relations, but main thing here I have told you that we have to solve a recurrence relation. So our main aim is here solving a recurrence relation. Solving a recurrence relation means from this given recurrence relation we want to find out that nth term in terms of n only. So our aim is to solve recurrence relation. To solve recurrence relations. So what is the meaning of solving recurrence relations? Solving recurrence relation means that is finding nth term of the sequence in terms of n. In terms of n. This is what that solving a recurrence relation. So I will come to this Fibonacci sequence will solve. Before that I'll tell you some other example, the method of solving recurrence relations. So here we shall discuss two different methods of solving recurrence relation. So here we discuss two methods to solve recurrence relations. So first one is our generating function method. First one is generating function method. Generating function method, and second one will be our characteristic roots method. Second one is characteristic roots method. So in this first method, generating function method, let me discuss how do we solve that. 1 minute. Okay. So in this generating function method, I will give one example. Consider that I'll ask you to solve the recurrence relation. Solve the recurrence relation Hn is equal to 5 H n minus 1 minus 6 H n minus 2, n is greater than or equal to 2, and initial conditions are given. Subject to the initial values H0 equal to 1 and H1 is equal to say minus 2. Well, because in this recurrence relation it is order 2. This is order 2, right? So from here that n is greater than or equal to 2 in this recurrence relation. So those initial terms we have to tell, therefore. We have to tell the initial terms. From this recurrence relation, we don't get that initial terms. It is for n greater than or equal to 2. So therefore, the initial terms we take here, we consider them as initial values. That is H0, H1 and H1 is equal to minus 2. Well, so how to solve this? By using generating function method. Here I am following the generating function method. So therefore I will consider that let gx be the generating function of the given sequence h0, h1x, h2x square plus hn x to the power n. Okay, that be the generating function. Be the generating function of the given sequence. Generating function of the given sequence. Well, if we take gx be this expression, then okay, let me write here our gx is h0 plus h1x plus h2x square plus that nth term is hn x to the power n. It goes like this. Well, so this given recurrence relation here, the given recurrence relation is like this. Given recurrence relation is actually, you can write like this, Hn minus, bring all the terms here to left hand side, plus 6Hn minus 2 is equal to 0, right? So the given recurrence relation we can write in this form. Now what I will do, Gx is like this, and then I will consider the, this minus 5x times Gx. Minus 5x times Gx. I shall multiply minus 5x with Gx. So therefore, and then actually it is, I am multiplying here, so therefore minus 5h0x I will write. That that same power, actually power of x, I'll write this. Therefore minus 5h0x I am writing below this h1x, because then we'll take their sum. Okay, then we'll take their sum, that is why it will be easy. Okay, this is minus, not plus, this is minus, we are having, and this is minus 5h1 x square. It will be shifting, actually it will be shifting, and here you will have minus 5 hn minus 1 x to the power n. So this way we'll have the terms. Then I did this because here minus 5 hn minus 1 is there. That is why I am multiplied by minus 5x with 2gx. Then next we are having 6hn minus 2. So sign is positive sign. So I will multiply 6x square. I will multiply 6x square with this gx. So now I will get this, 6h0 x square, then plus we'll have here this general term is 6h n minus 2 x to the power n. Okay, so we are having the, okay, these terms are like this. So now I'll add them. Okay, then I'll add them. So addition, add here, add this. So left hand side I'll get is 1 minus 5x plus 6x square, and gx I am taking common. And then in the right hand side you are having that h0 plus h1 minus 5h0 x plus h2 minus 5h1 plus 6h0, take this square, x square common. It is like this, and nth term you get hn minus 5hn minus 1 plus 6hn minus 2 x to the power n. It goes on, right? But you notice one thing, from the given recurrence relation, this is what the given recurrence relation, and this sum hn minus 5 hn minus 1 plus 6 hn minus 2, this is equal to 0 for n greater than or equal to 2, for n greater than or equal to 2, right? So therefore here, that in this expression, right hand side, you see, look at this term. Okay, look at these terms. What will be the value of these terms? Who can tell?
0.
0. Yeah, very good. So these are all 0. Yeah. So therefore, we can get that, simplify this, and also the values of H0 and H1 are given to us. Those initial values, it is given to us. So H0 is given to us, that is 1, and H1 is given, that is -2, and here H0 is 1. Okay, so -5x, all others are 0. So therefore, this is 1 minus 7x. This is 1 minus 7x. That's what we get. This gives you that gx is equal to 1 minus 7x divided by 1 minus 5x plus 6x square. So this is the generating function of the sequence, given sequence in this problem. Okay, this is the generating function of the given sequence. So now if we can do expansion of this generating function, if we can expand this generating function, then we will able to determine the coefficient of xn, that is your hn. Coefficient of xn will give you the hn. So how to expand this function now? We can use the the expansion, the Taylor series expansion, you can say. So this is the generating function. You remember that this is the generating function of hn, generating function of this sequence. This sequence hn. Now this gx we can write further actually, that we can express in this form. So this comes out to be 5 by 1 minus 2x minus partial fraction, you do partial fraction, 1 minus 3x. It comes out to be like this. And here this, you know, the expansion of 1 by, okay, that 1 by 1 minus x, that expansion you can have. So 5 will take common, and then you can write like this: 1 plus 2x plus 2 square x square plus 2 to the power n x to the power n. It goes like this, and minus 4 times this 1 minus 3, 1 by 1 minus 3x. So that we can write that 1 plus 3x plus 3 square x square, and nth term you write 3 to the power n x to the power n in this way. So now you simplify, collect the coefficient of powers of x. So therefore, powers of x. So first term you get 1, that is 5 minus 4. Simplify this. Then you will get minus 2x. Then minus 15 x square. So actually this series converges to a function. That is why we can do this term by term addition, subtraction. Okay, it is a convergent series. So then coefficient of x to the power n will be 5 into 2 to the power n minus 4 into 3 to the power n. This is the coefficient of x to the power n. Right. So hence you get the sequence hn is equal to 5 into 2 to the power n minus 4 into 3 to the power n. This is what your answer, final answer. Well, so using taking help of this generating function, we can solve recurrence relation also. So next class, next class only I'll explain you this solving recurrence relation by characteristic root method. Well, so that's all for today. Any query you can ask? It is all right, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay then.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello. Tell.
Ma'am, here when we added those like gx
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
minus 5x into gx.
Huh.
So, ma'am,
Yeah.
there means when this, because this series is an infinite series.
Yeah.
So that's why we are able to write everything as 0.
Oh, no. Here it is given the recurrence relation. No, this relation we have. Huh?
Yes, ma'am. That is
0.
okay,
Why I
but
have written? I have used this. Tell me.
so means there won't be any term remaining like for like 6x square. So we have basically shifted 2 terms.
Yeah.
So they will also get cancelled.
Which one will get cancelled?
Means the term which is coming at the end of this 6x square gx series.
Okay, this 6x square gx. So you are saying the terms will be vanishing.
At the end, which were supposed to come because the series is infinite. That's why it will eventually fall into some bracket of hn into hn minus 5 times hn minus 1 plus 6 times hn minus 2.
Towards the end of the series, you are saying.
Yes, ma'am. Means we are not considering that term. We are saying that.
No. We are considering all the terms, and all those terms will vanish, na? Okay. So what?
X values.
Yeah.
Minus
All these
one,
terms.
right? It will take x values from minus 1 to 1, right? Even if we are using this.
Then?
Only then you can say it will definitely converge to nullity. Otherwise, it will be like a geometric series sum.
Oh, okay, you are saying that we are taking that. You are saying x value is less than mod x is less than 1. You are saying.
Yeah,
we are assuming that.
Yeah, this is only true for mod x less than 1.
Yeah. Of course,
otherwise,
we are taking.
As
Yeah. X is indeterminate actually. That is a parameter. So for which it will converge, we will write that only. This is assumed. I mean, this generating function actually we are assuming that this series is convergent. We are assuming this series is convergent. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah. Of course, we are taking that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other query?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Which book you are following?
That